So, if you had not already guessed, because my hair and my beard make me look at least a little like a Viking, yes, I am descended in part from Norse men and women. True story. One of my ancestors was a shady dude from Norway named Odin. So, Norse mythology is part of my cultural heritage. And before they embraced Catholicism, my more ancient ancestors from Germany may well have worshipped the same gods under different names, calling Odin, Woden, and Thor, Donar. So I'm always happy to have a chance to reread Norse myths and to talk about Thor and his hammer, Mjollnir. For this module of World Mythology as Literature, by your request, we'll be reading about the creation of and the theft of Thor's hammer. For my wardrobe, for the video version of this main lesson, I've even worn a t-shirt with an image of Mjollnir on it. And another true story, I wrote this on a Thursday, which is Thor's Day. But before we talk about Thor's hammer, I want to acknowledge that Mjollnir is a symbol with many meanings. For followers of modern heathen religions, such as Asatru or the Troth, Mjollnir remains a symbol of faith. In fact, about a decade ago, the U.S. Veterans Administration approved it as a religious symbol that can be carved into tombstones for members of our military. During the Viking Age, the hammer was often worn as a pendant, similar to how a Christian would wear a cross. Nowadays, influenced by the mighty Thor's portrayals in Marvel comics and movies, we tend often to think of it as solely an awesome weapon wielded in battle by the god of thunder. However, in Norse mythology, Mjollnir was also a divine instrument with which Thor blessed and sanctified. Unfortunately, in modern times, Thor's hammer has too often been misappropriated by some white supremacists and conspiracy theorists, which is why you may remember a man in a horned helmet with a tattoo of Mjollnir on his stomach among those who stormed the U.S. Capitol in January of 2021. Let me hammer home this important point, though. Mjollnir is not an inherently racist symbol. Most modern heathens are horrified at the way some white supremacists and conspiracy theorists have co-opted this venerable religious and cultural icon. So, yes, Mjollnir is a symbol with many meanings. For this class, we will concentrate specifically on its original uses by Thor in Norse mythology as both an awesome weapon and a divine instrument. If you're interested in learning more about Norse mythology, I recommend reading 4 books as a start. 2 from the Middle Ages and 2 from the modern day. Not coincidentally, we'll be reading excerpts from all 4 during this module. From the Middle Ages, you'd want to start out reading the Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda. Compiled by Icelandic scholars, these 2 texts are our most significant sources for our modern understanding of Norse mythology. For this module, we'll be reading 5 short sections of the Prose Edda by Snorri Sturluson, Thor, how should Thor be referred to, Loki, how should Loki be referred to, and the dwarves make treasures for the gods. And we'll be reading 1 selection from the Poetic Edda, Thrym's poem. From the modern day, I recommend Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, as well as the graphic novel version of it masterminded by Gaiman and P. Craig Russell. Again, we'll be reading excerpts from both these in this module. From the book Norse Mythology, we'll be reading The Treasures of the Gods, which is a retelling of The Dwarves Make Treasures for the Gods from the Prose Edda, and Freya's Unusual Wedding, which is a retelling of Thrym's poem from the Poetic Edda. From the graphic novel version of Norse mythology, we'll look at 2 one-page excerpts, which we'll refer to as We Are Grateful to Him Even When We Hate Him the Most, and Just Her Hand,